Hey, welcome back. It's The Lounge right here on 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dials as well. Thanks for joining us here on the show. I'm your host, Keaton Nichols. Check me out on Twitter at Keaton D. Nichols. My next guest is in the house. She's been to this house before.
Hey.
She goes by Whitney Taylor of W Cosmetics.
How you
She's
doing?
right here on the program. What's up, Whitney?
Nothing much. What's going on?
A long time no see.
I know it's been years.
You back in the building. That actually might be true. It might have actually been years since we last saw you around these parts. How you doing?
I'm actually doing good. It's different being on the other side now.
I know, right? It's a lot less. Is there a lot less pressure being on this side because you could just be you? Like over there, you had to push a bunch of buttons. I had to yell at you a bunch of times about
I think
the
that was
phones.
more pressure. That was actually more pressure.
I put more pressure on you.
Yes.
Than this is right here.
Yes.
Wow. Jeez, am I a hard instructor? Jeez, I never really thought about that before. Jeez.
Yeah,
but
you're
now-
very difficult actually.
Oh well, that means I train very good people, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. 'Cause now I have like a structure and I understand what goes into the business.
Right. You understand how it is. So everyone's fine. No harm, no foul, right?
Exactly.
Cool. And look at what it's turned you into.
I know.
Yes, you got your own cosmetics line, right?
Yes.
W Cosmetics. Tell us about it.
All right.
Why just started? When just started?
Okay,
All that stuff.
so I actually started back in 2012.
Oh, it's throwback.
I know it started a long time ago,
Mhm.
but it wasn't until last year, Black Friday of 2017, when I relaunched it.
Okay.
And I took a break because I wanted to learn a little bit more. I was so excited back then, and I really wanted to do it. I wanted to make makeup, but I'm like, all right, I have some knowledge of makeup, but I don't fully understand everything.
Mhm.
So I decided, like, maybe I should take some time, go and learn about it. So I took a ton of makeup jobs to learn about ingredients and to learn about the consumer, learn about marketing, advertising, to pretty much just learn as much as I could before getting back into my own thing.
Mhm.
And then I named it W Cosmetics, one because of...
Wait. Let me
Go
guess. Because your first name
Mhm.
is Whitney.
Part of it.
Oh, see, partial points.
Yes, the second part is because if you ever think about, go back to like when you're in elementary school, high school, and they
Mhm.
always say about finding your purpose. What do they say? Find the 5 W's.
The 5 W's.
Yes, the who, what, when, where, and why. That's how you find your purpose.
Okay.
And I knew that my purpose in life obviously was makeup
Mhm.
and being involved in that industry.
Mhm.
So I'm like, what better way? My name, finding my purpose, the W, it just made so much sense.
Boom. It wasn't originally called W Cosmetics?
It was.
Oh, it was. So you've
Yes.
known that from the very beginning.
I knew that from the very beginning. I mean, it looked a little bit different. The
Mhm.
logo, the aesthetic was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But now, it's always been the same.
So 2012, were you in school?
Yes.
College.
Yes.
You were in college, and that probably was kind of difficult. Like when you were first like starting out, like
Mhm.
what were some of the things that you thought to yourself, whoa, maybe not right now? What were some of the things like what were some of those factors that kind of hit you like maybe I need to kind of take a step back for just a little bit on this before I relaunch it?
One was my college schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking 6 classes in a semester,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that going into business was going to be a lot easier than it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was, okay, make makeup, here you go. People are going to like it. I'm going to sell it.
Mhm.
And that's how it was going to be. But it actually wasn't like that at all.
Really?
Yes, it was actually very difficult. I didn't realize, and even now I realize that it is.
Well, what do you mean? Like, so you were making makeup back then too? Like,
Mhm.
you were actually, and I gotta ask you about that because I'm
Okay.
actually really fascinated by that
Okay.
process. But you were making makeup, so was it kind of like your marketing scheme, or you maybe business plan? What was it?
I'm going to be honest with you. Back then, I didn't know anything.
Word, and that's how a lot of
Yes.
us are when we come into this.
I had no idea. I was very fascinated with YouTube, and before I had started working, obviously I didn't have a job, so I'm like, I can't afford to buy makeup all the time.
Mhm.
And I was being stubborn, didn't want to ask my parents for money all the time, so I decided, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to make makeup by myself.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
that's really how it had all kind of started.
mhm.
But I had looked at it thinking that, hey, I'm going to be able to just sell it to people, and then people are going to like it all the time, or they're just going to want to purchase it. But it wasn't like that at all. I had to learn how to market. I had to learn how to advertise, and that's still something that I'm learning now.
Word. So you mean to tell me that you're still growing as an entrepreneur, as
Yes.
a business owner? This is a part of the process, and what we talk about a lot of times with our financial segments and things like that, like it's not just about like money is not just like having money and not having money, or business is not having a business. Not there's so many other factors that go into it, and oftentimes it's not until we actually leap into the business that
Right.
we start to realize, oh snap, I actually need this, or I need batteries to run this, or I need, I need an extra server for the, a lot of times from an entrepreneurial perspective, we don't, consider those things initially. But I think it's good to also go through sort of a trial and error period. Because you're not learning from someone else, you're not learning up underneath someone else. You feel and you know exactly what's necessary.
Exactly.
And that's what you said. You spent some time doing that, working at different places. That's dedication.
With men, when you guys walk into the room, the first thing that people notice about y'all that makes y'all feel confident is y'all tie. What we as women have is our lip color, our lipstick. So that's what makes us feel most confident, because we know if we have on a killer lipstick that we are going to shut the room down.
That room.
Exactly. So, but a lot of times, like even when I worked at like 9-to-5 jobs, I like being creative. I like wearing color. So I want to wear like a dark purple lipstick or like just really bright pink lipstick. And a lot of times they look at me like, oh, okay, she's not, like the average.
She's not one of those normal brown girls.
Exactly. Or,
she likes to get exotic.
Not that conservative when it comes to like makeup and everything. So, but I'm not going to let that stop me from what I want to do. So I would wear what I wanted to wear to work. But then when I open my mouth, they're like, wow, her looks have nothing to do with how smart she is. And I want women to feel as though that you can be who you are. You can be as bold as you need to be. And you can still own the room.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that confidence is a big part about it. We talk about it sometimes when we relate to people we see on TV or superheroes or whatever else like that. Sometimes young people can kind of look into those people and be inspired that, if nothing more, to normalize themselves being on TV or being somewhere. And that's something that, I hear a lot of times with this conversation about makeup. I hear it a lot from our sisters as well, that, when it comes to makeup and being a black person and trying to wear makeup, sometimes that can kind of be a difficult thing to match up with.
It is very difficult.
What has been your experience with, like, that experience, and then, how does that relate to the type of products that you create with W Cosmetics?
Well, I find that a lot of brands, and I will not say all of them, but a lot of brands are not inclusive when it comes to African American women. And sometimes it is very hard to find foundations. And I will say, like, a lot of times these makeup brands, too, are owned by men, which a lot of people do not know. A lot of them are owned by men. They aren't inclusive to African Americans. So what I'm looking to do is I am looking to have a full-blown cosmetic line. But right now I am starting off with liquid lipsticks and lip glosses. But the way that I'm creating them, so that way they are wearable for every skin tone, from fair to super deep. So that way anybody and everybody can feel comfortable in what they're wearing. And the good thing about it, you can mix the colors as well. So that way, if maybe you like this color, you can always mix them together to find something in between that'll work for you as well, too.
Wow. This stuff is pretty deep. And this is all new to me. I'm just like,
Like, sure, yeah.
Yeah. If you say anything wrong, it's not like I'm going to correct you. No, I'm just kidding. We got Whitney Taylor in the studio. She is owner and founder of W Cosmetics. And what I've also noticed, I think, about cosmetics in the beauty industry, there's so many YouTube instructional videos as to how to get this look, or how to do your eyebrows this way, or what lip color might fit you best and whatnot. This is kind of like makeup. I didn't discover this until a couple of years ago. When I had some women roommates, and then you get to see the whole process. Like, I grew up, my mom's always gotten ready, but you don't really pay attention to that, right?
Right.
But so when I got older and I lived with some women, and like before they would go out, it was like this whole thing, right? And what I started to discover, it's like makeup is kind of like an art.
It is an art.
It really is. Like, everything that you have to do. And then it started to make sense. MUAs and makeup artists on social media and stuff like that. Like, you really are an artist when you're crafting these kinds of things. So I know you've got the business thing down. I can hear that. When it comes to the art side of things, how do you kind of feel about the art side, the actual makeup of the makeup, if you were the physically doing of the makeup?
I feel like the art part of it is definitely a portion that most people do not appreciate as much as they should, because it is something that can completely sculpt the face. It can sculpt the body. You can do your eyebrows one shape and it can make your face look a little bit wider. You can do it another way and it's going to make your face look a little bit longer. So you can contour your face and make it look slimmer, like you have cheekbones. Because personally, I like to contour my face because I have a chubby face. So I want it to look like I have cheekbones when I really don't.
You do have cheekbones. I'm looking at them right now.
But I contour it, and that's what it's all about, an illusion.
Now I get it.
It's an illusion. So you're
faking me out right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that is fantastic. I mean, that like, when I really started thinking about it, you know what it was when I started doing my own beard.
Okay.
And I was like, wait a minute, I'm spending like 30 minutes in the mirror, like, you know, like, I was like, this is like I feel like I'm painting a picture here, and I'm changing the look of my face, in and of, you know, in a certain particular way. And I never used to understand it before. I'd be like, why
but
put
if you
anything on your face?
You're off, then you'll see you look completely different.
Completely different. And when I'm rocking the Philly beard, that's what I call it. You know, totally different look. Something in between, totally different. Unkempt, definitely very different. Shaved, but also not lined up, another different look. Like, all these things have like different sort of levels, if you will.
Yep.
And makeup's kind of like that too.
No, that's very true, because even you can like go on YouTube, or you can even go and like look at different articles online. You can see, you can use the makeup to make abs for yourself. People be making six packs.
What?
Yes.
Can you do that?
I can do that. I've never done it on myself, but I can do that.
Yeah, let's talk after this.
You can do that, make it like you have abs. I know a lot of people, when I was in college, I actually took a theater class. So it made myself look like I was 90 years old. I made myself look like I was a zombie, whether I was beat up, and I had like scars and bruises on my face. You really can make yourself look completely different, or you can still just enhance and have a better version of yourself, I would say.
We're speaking with Whitney Taylor of W Cosmetics right here on the lounge. And what would you say, okay, so last Black Friday, of course, 2017, was when you officially relaunched. You know, you're coming up probably on the 1 year anniversary of your relaunch and things like that too. What's kind of like the next step for you? We'll ask about that first, and then I'll ask about W Cosmetics as a company, but what's kind of the next step for you and the evolution for you in this process? Where do you want to go?
I want to go, my main goal is to be the #1 beauty brand in the world.
Word.
That is my main goal.
Watch out, Rihanna. Fenty is going down in
She's
number 2.
going down, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but honestly, that is my #1 goal. But I have to do that with being genuine with who we are, and just making sure I stay authentic, and also just getting to know people.
Word.
And brand awareness.
Brand awareness like this.
Yeah.
W Cosmetics. W Cosmetics.
Yes, I do find that my goal for myself personally, and then my goal for the business, do go hand in hand, because for myself, I want to learn more about people. I want to learn more about the industry. I want to grow as a person, a businesswoman, and as a brand personally. But that also translates into the business as well, where I want that to grow to be for global expansion and to be known everywhere. And my thing is that for me, it's not about just selling the product. I want people to feel like they're a part of the family, like when they join W Cosmetics. That's where I want it to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think you are careening towards that right now. You are fast approaching that. And mad respect, I mean, from the times a couple of years ago where we're sitting back at one of those tables talking about conceptually W Cosmetics, you know, coming back into the forefront. What will that look like? And you know, I wish you the best in all of this. And then boom, it's real.
Seriously, and I will say that being here has actually taught me and helped me out a lot, because I remember back when I was when I was interning here, and you guys told me not to be scared. I need you to book these people. I need them by 5 o'clock for tomorrow.
Yeah, just talk to them. It's not a big deal.
I know, and I'm like, oh, great. You want me to get the Senator of New York? Sure, no problem.
Yeah, why not?
So that made me so nervous, but that has actually helped me out in this realm of my life, because now I don't feel scared, or I don't feel nervous to just go out there and just take the chance, or try talking to people, try reaching out, or not taking the word no for anything. So, and if this door closed, find someone else.
Another one's gonna open.
Exactly. So that experience in my life has actually impacted me positively now for what I'm doing.
Well, I'm glad we were able to instill some confidence and some
Seriously,
forward-thinking sort of objectives. Look at what it's turned into. I think this is fantastic. Black-owned business, y'all. Go support.